Let's see here. So it'll be a boss side start from both teams here. Let's see how this early lane plays out, because Renekton will have a really hard level 2 power spike. If I remember correctly, you just kill him at level 2 here. So his only chance really is to try and contest this wave really hard level 1 and get to level 2 first, and then just leave if he can. So he's gonna push up for level 2 first. He gets it. But I'm guessing that he just doesn't respect the level 2 coming back in here. Yeah.
I would have been
Here it is. Oh, when he dashed into tower range. He probably lived if he didn't dash into tower range.
Well, no, because I would have flashed.
No, you wouldn't have had the damage. One auto wouldn't have done it for you there. You would have needed 2 autos, and you would not have been able to get 2 autos in. So he would have lived on like 1 HP if he didn't take a tower shot. Yeah. Regardless, that was good punish. This should be just fucking lane ending almost for the Seraphine here.
Any order that I did?
Let's see here. No, it's really good flash to pull him in. Get his flash out in return, which kind of just neutralizes a lot of Olaf's early threat. Just because, like pre-6 especially, he really doesn't have a lot of punish without his flash. For a like a flash axe to finish someone off.
I didn't really sad looking back at it. Like, I don't play too much.
That was good steal.
I play the I'm not
And then this is just a little bit of an overchase, I think, because there's a chance that the Yasuo, you don't know when the Yasuo is coming back. You got the Scuttle Crab. I would just leave him push in the wave instead of chasing the Olaf down there. It's not like, unless you kill him, which you can't, it doesn't really matter. It's an Olaf, he'll heal it all back up anyways on his clear. It's not like you can force it back out of him or anything. But yeah. So Graves is just insanely ahead right now, especially after Olaf failed to get Scuttle. And I think the bot lane's getting the other Scuttle right now, or at least leashing it for the Graves. So, oh, wrong person. Yep, leashing it for the Graves. So yeah, the Graves is in a really good spot right now, and that's just because of 3 winning lanes. It's really nice for Senior Graves to safely farm up as much as he pleases. Yasuo is just not having a good time at this point. He's pushing in and he can't step up to anything. Yeah, that's really good. That's how that should be going. Yasuo should just be dead here. Yep, don't even need the ignite. Now you have level 6. So now you really want to just be looking probably in the mid lane to be moving your lead around the map as much as you can, and then the jungler, it's your job to be working with him as well, to get him moving across the map. So every objective honestly should be yours at this point, and you can definitely pretty easily go for 4-man dive spot lane with an overload. Yeah. There's really nothing they can do about it with the Renekton this fed. Especially since you're probably honestly pretty close to your Eclipse here in a couple minutes with the kills under your belt.
It's
Oh yeah, think I remember this. Right, hold on, what happens here? So this should be a one fight for you. Oh, I remember. Yeah, you didn't. Your W was just on too far away. It was close. You probably needed to ult his ult, honestly, just so you didn't take damage from his ult. You were just spacing a little bit. I'm not sure, but there should have. I think there's a window somewhere in there to win that fight. I'm not entirely sure what it is, but. I'm not entirely sure what that window was, but I feel like there was one. It's okay. Because you should start smacking him eventually. Yeah. Oof, the tower shots feel bad. Here's the gank now, bot lane, get the flash out. Oh, that's sad. Yeah, we probably should have looked to roam the Renekton down bot side, because you got the Seraphine flash out early, and we weren't able to punish it. So that's something that we should be calling out for sure, and looking to play around. Like at this point, there's probably no excuse that the Renekton didn't make a roam trip bot lane to kill this Seraphine. I want to say that, yeah, he should have just been dead. Okay, this Yasuo should just be dead under tower too. Also, minion wave crashes. Honestly, right here. Like when you had those melees in, you probably could have just double dashed in, killed him, and then if you needed to, flashed out. Okay. Oof. That is an ambitious flash, sir. Especially when you're already slowed. Not knowing if the Olaf is flash or not. Makes it really hard. But yeah, like it's not bad you go flash for flash, but when you're this far ahead, you probably would just want to be looking for the more guaranteed kills. I.e. roaming bot lane and killing the Seraphine, who doesn't have flash. It's fine. The Janna comes up here. It's a good roam off the back. So this should just be a free herald at this point.
Let me know if background music is too much.
Alright. And then yeah, this is just giving him free autos is really hard. Really hurt me a lot here. It's the biggest thing. Yeah, and he's getting the Q poke down, which is what he wants to do, and in trade, like, so the way that the set wins this is just by taking like medium trades. Like Malphite wins short ones and Malphite wins long ones, but Set wins like the in-betweens where he can get his spells off and get like his 4 autos off. Because you want to go like auto, and then use your Q for an auto reset, auto. So if you do like, yeah, you probably go E, W, auto, Q, auto, walk away. Because I think your Q gives a little bit of move speed as well. I'm not sure. I don't remember exactly, but yeah. That's probably your trade pattern that you just want to go for and never go for more than that. Just get the double empowered autos with the left hook in if you can. Let's see here. He's doing a good job just farming it up. Definitely could have put more attention to that side, just because, yeah, it is a Malphite and you're double AD. It's just really hard to gank here, and actually accomplish anything besides getting his flash or getting his ult. Like, he probably could have just ulted out instead of using flash, because he wasn't in range of any set CC, and Graves doesn't have any inherently of his own, so... And then yeah, that's an example of just like greedy warding. You definitely
Yeah,
want
I
to be
wasn't
exported by
expecting him
the
to be
Graves and
in,
the Renekton Bull.
I wasn't expecting him in our side of the jungle.
Yeah, it's just like if you don't have vision on him, assume that he's somewhere that he could be there. If you don't know, assume the worst. Honestly, is like the best rule of thumb. But yes, just wait for the Graves to come out of base, and you can walk through with Graves, or even if just like waiting for the Renekton to come down as well. And you're good. But it was a good follow up. Good Renekton. Catch the Yasuo and catch the Olaf. And at this point, the game should just be pretty much over. Playing in the side lane and killing whoever comes to you.
I mean, yeah, but they just...
For the most part.
Yo!
Like, honestly, even at this point is when I would be considering, especially, like, even if you weren't before, pushing out mid-wave, getting the Renekton to roam bot lane, and, like, you have the set TP too, you could even bring 5 people down bot lane, and then just use your Herald to take bot tower. Like, with either as 4 or 5 man, just use the Herald, get the tower and the laning phase, and get the Renekton into a long side lane to fuck up whoever comes to him. Just playing off those advantages and giving them no space to breathe. Because if I remember correctly, we play this like second half of laning phase really slow, and we give them like some opportunities to come back into the game that way.
I don't know how to accelerate the game.
And yeah, that's just forcing team plays around you, like forcing the 4-man, 5-man bot lane dive.
Would it have been worth dropping Rift mid so that we open up the possibility of Yas having to overstep further?
I mean, you can't. I don't care what you did with it, honestly, at that point, as long as you use it to get plates, which you didn't end up doing. Like, it timed out, which means I think it lasts 4 minutes in your inventory. I don't remember exactly how long. I think it's 4 minutes. Yeah, so you had 4 minutes to drop that Herald to get plates, and you didn't drop it anywhere. Like, if you don't know for sure, I'd rather you take it, like, finish the Herald, and then immediately take it top lane and drop it just to guarantee the plates, than to let it time out. Or let the plates time out like this. But yeah, I do still think that taking it bot lane for a 4 or 5-man bot lane was probably the best play, just to get you 2 kills and get the turret. And then you can end the lane phase right there. Yeah, because if you just end the lane phase right there, then Renekton gets to snowball so hard. The Renekton gets to start doing like you get to start having the team fights and stuff earlier. Without, you know, so you get all the team fights and your Renekton's still strong as fuck, but they don't have the items yet because you're forcing them sooner in the game. So you just get to leverage that Renekton power sooner in the game before they can capitalize off of it.
Makes sense, makes sense.
I am usually a fan of short laning phases, ending laning phases early if we're ahead. Just like typically, that is something I am in favor of. So like ending the fucking laning phase before plates even fall, I don't mind doing here. This was good punish because I think, oh no, the Renekton, okay, this is just a dead Janna then. Renekton trolled you, Chubby. Renekton should get cleanup though, but you definitely did not have to die for it. This TP is also, I think, unnecessary. But I can understand wanting to get something yourself. Wanting to get some gold in your own pockets just so everyone gets accelerated and not just the Renekton. But yeah. The Renekton is, yeah, now it's like just starting to get like too much. Like this third dragon is spawning and you really want to just be exploding the game forward at this point.
Sorry. Bagging.
Are you watching? So if I go back, will you see it?
Yeah.
Okay, so we will go see you and Chubby here. Alright, let's watch what you do here. We'll give you the benefit of the doubt. We'll turn on Fog of War for you, okay? Alright, now let's watch what this Renekton does. Okay, so you see this play going down top side. Graves dies. You're walking up. I'm sure Jana said she's walking up as well. You see both of them walking down that way. Jana y'all spot him walking that way, and then you go there.
No,
And the
so
Jana is
the
face to
call
face.
was-
And the
we-
Jana is
we
face to
thought
face with
that,
the Malphite.
I thought that there was someone in like.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if someone's in Krugs. The Jana's still dead because you abandoned her. She was counting on. The only reason she walked that close was because she was counting on you coming.
I didn't think the Malphite would do that. Because I was planning
You
on
saw
doing
him
the,
on Fog of
on
War.
Krugs.
But no, that would be. Yeah, I don't know. You saw both of them walking out, like walking this way. So.
That's fair.
And even if someone is there, I don't give a shit if someone's there. This guy's here. Don't take 2 1v1s. Take 1 2v1.
Well,
Because the Jana will always lose that 1v1. As soon as you go over that wall, Jana is dead. Regardless of if the Olaf's there or not. If Olaf is at Krugs, the Jana is still dead.
I mean, my thought process was to
At least
the Malphite, though, is that
communicate
I
it.
can kill the Malphite, right? 'Cause, I mean, I don't think that I can kill the Malphite.
You definitely can.
But I feel like the only reason that I killed him was just out. Because he had
No.
one and a half. Well, one item plus 2.
He didn't at that point either. But no, yeah, you definitely kill him, especially with the help of the Jana. He's so deep in there, and especially if Leper is communicating that he's going to teleport, then it's, you know, 3 of you. Like, I'm sure it was a miscommunication, because the only reason that Jana walked up that far was because the Jana assumed that you were coming. And then you went over the wall because you assumed, you know, it was just a miscommunication, so that just means we need to communicate there more than that play. What's going on? There was split focus.
Yeah.
Like, even if there is an Olaf there, that's still just a miscommunication. There. But yeah. You're still heavily in the lead. It is now 17 and a half minutes, and for some reason, the Renekton's still in mid lane. We definitely, at this point, for sure, need to be getting the Renekton out of there. We definitely should have looked to make more plays on the map to knock down turrets, because every turret is still standing, and we had a Rift Herald already as well. A Rift Herald post blades too, so it's just, yeah.
I could have ignored you.
Yeah, that was a really good fight though, top lane. You go ult for ult, and you just do more damage than him, so you should be able to get this tower, or at least force his TP out. Yeah, this is really good. Dragon here. Malphite ends up TPing top lane. You should get the turret anyways. Yeah, you get the tower. You get the dragon. This is really good. At this point, the game should really be over.
At this point, should I be calling for me getting the majority of these kills, or should I be trying to let other people?
No, you don't have to try to do anything. Just, you know, whatever. You don't.
Well, no,
want
it's like one of those two where like it was like he was at 1 HP and no threat of killing any of us. Do we say like do I say, hey, let me have this kill, or do I say, hey?
No, you give it to the Graves. You don't need it. You're so
I mean, that's what
incredibly ahead. It's about sharing the wealth. Like, this is like, we want you moving around the map because we want you to be sharing the wealth. And if you just keep taking all the kills, that's no longer sharing the wealth. Because we want like 3 different big threats that they have to worry about. So it's not just like, okay, we kill the Renekton and we're fine. No.
Yeah.
We want everyone to be a threat.
Is the music too loud? Is that like it's really loud for you guys?
Yeah, it's picking up. But yeah. After this back, the Swain really should be going mid lane. If I remember correctly, yeah, you have like 1500 gold on you here. So this is definitely an overstay, especially since it's 20 minutes in and you're the, yeah. Yeah, I don't know, this just feels like laning phase went on for 20 minutes, which was like 7 minutes too long. in this game.
Yeah, that was my I don't know how
And
to
that's that's just like,
I was playing super.
and that's just a symptom of us not making plays around the map. Because if we had made plays together around the map, the lane phase would have ended a lot sooner. So now this is where we wanted to be probably a little while ago, back when the gold lead was like 4 or 5k. It's down to like 3k now. But yeah, this is what we want it to be. We want Renekton in the long side lane, we want Set in the long top lane, and we just want to be playing safe, playing around the map, playing around vision. And sadly, our Set is just too far pushed up here. By himself. So this happens. But yeah, like there's no reason really to push that far unless you see them and unless we have another pressure point. Like mid and bot weren't pushed up enough yet for you to be up that far, if that makes sense. Like you're just an easy punish and there's nothing we can trade back because there's no objective for us to get yet. And we just don't have the waves in order for us to take a tower on the other side of the map. So that's just a free kill for them. And then I don't know if like someone called to try and look for something here, but for some reason we goon squatted instead of, and no one's mid, and I think the Malphite just gets this tower for free. Like I don't know if we're trying to overforce down here or something, but we're giving mid tower for free, and we should be able to recognize that this is just going to take too long to develop. We don't have any waves in order. So we just need to be playing out waves. And like there's nothing to happen until this dragon spawns. Like this is just meaningless fighting, if that makes sense. Like this did not need to happen from either end. Renekton's big enough that I think we're able to clean up 2 kills, 2 for 1, which is really good for us, but again, it's just all meaningless. And we're reliant on them misplaying, like to hell and back for us to get this type of trade. Like honestly, it should have just ended up as a 1 for 1, and then staying here is very greedy. It's like 50 seconds before dragon spawns. Getting the soul should probably be our top priority. So just like getting the soul and then getting set up for Baron. So especially now, like I would rather you back and be late to the dragon. So I know I want us to be there for the dragon, but I'd rather you back and be at full health and be late for the dragon than be at the dragon on time, but not with all of like your resources. Because we can pause it now, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,500 gold in our pockets or so right now. And 3 people on not full health bars. 2 people on not full mana bars either. I'm not sure how limiting that's going to be. It shouldn't be too limiting for you. Okay, it shouldn't be too limiting, but 3 people not full health bars, 6.5 gold in our pocket. This fight, they literally have a 3,000 gold lead because they're going to come to it fully spent, and we will not be, essentially. So yes, getting set up for dragons is important, but it's also important to have all of your tools. That one's definitely sidesteppable. That's just a micro thing. Just to focus on clicking closer to your champ there. Yeah, at this point, our only play here is to try and get the dragon and get the soul, and then there's nothing we can do after that. Like, they're gonna get kills off the back of it, guaranteed. We just have to try and steal it, or try and take it before they can. But we should never have been in that position in the first place, is the other thing though. But yeah, so that's just getting set up early for drags. And I would, yeah, definitely rather have us be late for drags, but not have 6,000 gold in our pockets and 1/3 health bars than to be there on time with 6,000 gold in pocket and not full health bars.
I mean, to be honest, that call was my fault, and I own that. So.
Yeah. Like, maybe I would probably just say not even take the inner tower there. But even taking the inner tower is fine. Just backing off afterwards and getting the recall in. Like, it's still 40 seconds or so before it spawns. You can recall and get back there, like, maybe 5-10 seconds before the dragon spawns itself. Which is, it's not the end of the world, right? Like, there's no window for them to sneak it. So you're still fine there timing-wise. It's just, yeah. Like, usually, like, account for maybe 40 seconds, like 8 to 10 seconds to recall, right, to get into a position and recall, and then 30 seconds, roughly, depending, you know, like, boots, obviously. But it's better to overestimate than underestimate. So just estimate, like, 40 seconds to get back, and then walk out to the dragon, or the baron, or whatever it is.
Either way, my
But
bad.
yeah. So yeah, so even if it's like 50 seconds before it spawns, back and be there and spend your gold instead of showing up late. I think I don't know how you do here. You don't have. Oh yeah, that was the other thing. I'm not sold on the Sterax second item when you're this far ahead. Like, I feel like you're, especially against their team, and the fact that you're full AD. Like, honestly, just going for a Black Cleaver. I'm not sure if Black Cleaver was changed on new items. I don't know. But like, Black Cleaver, or maybe Collector, just some, or honestly, even since it's a Malphite, you could literally just go Last Whisper second item, just because of the Malphite. But Sterax just feels too defensive, especially with all the throws. And the fact that it's the game's getting a lot closer. The Sterax just feels too passive.
Sorry.
I
That's
mean,
okay. No, I was
so-
kind of worried about it.
And if you want something passive, I would just go Death Stance as well.
I was thinking Black Cleaver, but I didn't think that I needed that.
No, yeah, I would have gone probably Black Cleaver or Death Stance. Perhaps like Collector or something. I don't know what standard Renekton builds are now, but I feel like the Sterax is wrong. Especially, and I think that Merc Treads is also mega wrong, considering that they like only have
I
knockups
did that for
and
the,
they're like full
I did
AD.
that for the charms.
It's not. I don't think it's worth it. I think the tabbies are far superior here. Given that every carry on their team, the only AP on their team, and the only like ability that you can see, like use mercs on, is Therapine, the support.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at their team and I just thought the were more work. Like the Seraphine.
No, you don't want to be buying boots for one person.
I mean, that's fair.
Buy the boots for the other 4
I
people.
I was just looking at the Olaf, the Yasuo, and the Ezreal, and I was like, I mean, I'm so like far ahead of them, so it doesn't matter. You know, that was my perspective. It's like, as long as I can't get CC'd, then it doesn't matter how much damage they do, because I'll just do more everything. You know?
Well, you say that, and then you bought a Sterax.
Well, yeah, I mean,
So you gave
I
them a
did,
window to
the
come
Sterax
back
was
into
snapped.
it with.
The Sterax was for the snap as well. I kind of snapped.
Yeah, no, that's the wrong way to be thinking about it, I think.
No, that's it.
I think, is this a Black Cleaver? Does Black Cleaver build out of Warhammer now? I don't fucking remember.
No.
I don't know if
Fields
they're building third.
Bob Fields, Kindle
Yeah, it
Fields,
does, okay.
I think.
Yeah, okay. So you got Black Cleaver third at least, yeah.
I thought it was single.
So yeah, you got Black Cleaver third at least, so
Yeah.
that's fine. This dragon, you're definitely late to showing up for, but
No, I think I got
it's okay because you needed that money. You needed every wave to get the item, and that's an understandable call out. You probably can prevent them from here. So yeah, the only problem is getting in now because they hold the space really well. I can't remember how this fight goes. But it's really awkward just because you have to walk through all of their stuff. You just get, I think you win this because you're Renekton and they'll get enough. Oh, no, they win this.
Yeah.
You don't get the Olaf. I'm correct. So they get the dragon and they trade up in kills. sadly.
Oh no, the one that I'm.
And that's just
Yeah,
because
the
they
one
get
that
set up first for it.
You want break?
Yeah. And honestly, I think the best bet there is A, not be in that position in the first place, but B, if we are in that position, we probably just push up the mid wave and walk down the river so we don't have to walk through one of these 2 chokes and just give them free CC through, you know, Malphite Yasuo as well as the Seraphine ult over the top of it. So I think our best bet's just walking down the river as a team instead of walking through the jungle in that position. Alright, so now we are 3.5 minutes away from our soul, our third chance at soul here. The Baron's still up. No one can really do the Baron unless it's off the back of a fight. So no one can just arbitrarily do it because they want to. So we don't really have to worry about that as long as we have a ward on it. And that we probably don't even need that as long as we're just, you know, paying attention to when people disappear off the map. We should be able to get a feeling for it. So right now, I honestly don't expect anything to happen for another 2 minutes before we start jockeying for dragon position, unless they overstep. And I think if I remember correctly, this Yasuo, or not the Yasuo, the Malphite fucking oversteps and gets picked, but like I feel like he goes for like some wonky ass ult right here and dies for it or something. Oh, we just find a flank. Yeah, so they just push that for us without enough vision. They have some, but it's not enough. So we find this, and then we should probably just lead this straight into Baron, given that their jungle is dead. Especially after the Ezreal flash, we should probably just run straight to the Baron, because we still had like 35 to 40 seconds at that point. So we had like 25 seconds to do it before they even spawned. Instead we look for the inhib here, which I'm not sold on. I do think it's fine, but I do think I like just getting the Baron and recalling, getting the waves in order, and getting the free soul better. I think. Yeah, that's what I would do. And that's what I would recommend in terms of our macro. Okay. We can probably grab this tower and then recall. After we found the flank in mid lane and got like 3 kills onto their top jungler fort, I think it was, we just run straight to Baron after getting the Ezreal splash instead of looking for inhib. Yeah, instead of getting the inhib, just get the Baron instead. And then because we can just go to the Baron, they have no way of stealing it at all. And then this doesn't happen. We don't overstay here and give them 3 free kills. And honestly, I don't remember if we do, but we should just lose Baron and another dragon off of it when we should have had the first 4, and then we give 4, 5, 6 instead, just off of reading out on the map too far. I'm curious how much gold we have this time. But yeah. And then especially, even if we do go for the inhib call, probably just back right after the inhib, because they're all respawning. And even if we don't, we take this tower and we should just be out. We shouldn't dick around in the jungles trying to take camps and shit. Split up like this, because let's take a look-see here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.5. Another 6.5 gold or so in our pockets. So once again, they will be able to find a fight with a 4k gold lead, even though on paper we have the lead. And yeah, so that just means that we need to be better about not reading out on the map, just in general. Whether that's for farm, whether it's for towers, kills, whatever, just making sure we're backing and just playing around objectives. Because we died 115 before the dragon, which means that we should have been recalling like 20 seconds earlier to get set up for the dragon anyways. Which would have been proper timing if we had just recalled after getting the inhib. We would have had ample time to get back out on the map, get the waves pushed, and then set up the vision. But yeah, so now they have Baron, and they have a 1k gold lead in a game that should have been over after, like, it honestly should have been over around like 24 minutes, and now we're 34 minutes in. If I remember correctly, they're actually really slow to get set up here. Like, the Yasuo goes top lane without TP, so they give us time to respawn and get out on the map. And thankfully, because we have the inhib, it takes them longer to push out mid. Instead of contesting vision, the Olaf decides he's going to get Krugs. He's not going to back before this fight, so the gold doesn't matter. And I think we do actually end up getting the dragon here when we really shouldn't. And that's just because they misplayed and had to walk up without all of their members. Like, Ezreal isn't here. Ezreal's probably their biggest damage dealer at this point. Maybe it's Yasuo, but I feel like Ezreal does the most sustained, consistent damage throughout these fights. And I remember, I think you end up killing this Ezreal here, actually. But yeah, so we are graced by them inting and not walking in together. Like, it was just like 2 of them that walked in together, and then 2 more joined, and then the Yasuo didn't even show up until after they had all died. So we were really lucky there that they gave us Soul and 4 of their Baron buffs, essentially neutralizing our mistakes. Staying here is definitely a little risky. Once again, you have a shit ton of gold in your pocket. This is like the 4th time I think you've stayed out on the map with over 1,500 gold in your pocket. And you don't have a team to back you up, so there's no world where you get any Nexus towers here. And basically what you're just going to do now by staying out on the map this long is you're going to greed, you're going to get these raptors, you might die for the red buff. No, you're going to recall now. But the rest of your members of the team have already backed, spent their gold, and gotten back out on the map. But because you're taking so long to get out on the map, they can't do anything until you do so, just kind of delaying things by about a full wave, wave and a half. And that's just kind of why tempo matters so much, at least to me. Tempo and being on time. Like, on teams, I'll fucking yell at people if they back, or if they don't back, or if they back at the wrong times. It's so frustrating to me, just because it wastes everyone's time when they do that. Like, the Swain was clearing top wave, so they couldn't do anything mid. The John was just sitting in mid alone. The set went and pushed out a wave and then just had to recall because there's nothing else for him to do. He can't push up past the river. And now we're kind of all set up. We should probably have the Swain pushing in mid. I don't really like this weird lane split we have going on. The Renekton likes the long lane as long as it's not against the Malphite. And honestly, at this point, honestly, at this point, it might not matter against the Malphite just because he has Black Cleaver. And then this is just a fucking int by the Malphite. This is, I think, this is the other time when the Malphite inted looking for a weird ult. The other time they just got flanked. This was the one where he died for a weird ult. So I think we just end the game here because they kind of pull and give us free fight. And like, what we probably should have done is 1-3-1 with the Renekton and the set on the sides, and then putting the Swain and the Janna and the Graves mid to get mid push, and then we can just like strangle them out that way. Instead they int for us, so we get a free end this way. But it was good that we were there to we were ready to punish them. And then this is just an end, just some sloppy stuff along the way that didn't need to be there, if that makes sense. And it seems like it all rotates around just macro, like lane assignments, and then like back timings. I imagine we'll see a lot of the same things in the next games, but yeah, so definitely for next week, my biggest things that I want us to work on are probably going to be just making sure we're backing in time for objectives, and making sure that we're not staying out on the map, greeting, reaching for plays, reaching for gold, reaching for turrets, kills, when we're not in a position to fight those, when we're not ready for those. Any questions for that game?
just a small like itemization question.
Yeah.
Because like I went for the Eclipse build because I thought that I could kind of leverage the fact that only the Malphite was going to be tanky. But would it have been more correct to go for the Shield Bow Cleaver route? Because I was thinking about that in retrospect, and I think it's mathematically more correct, but I'm not sure kind of like where your take is on it with respect to, am I looking at that point, build Eclipse, just straight run the squishies over, and then avoid Malphite that way? Or
I
do I
feel
go
like
for the
I
rapid
feel like you'd
approach?
want to go the shield blow cleaver here, just because their squishies, like that, it would make sense if they had different squishies, but their squishies were just like really hard to reach, if that makes sense. And given what like just the nature of the champs, their Malphite Olaf in the front, running you down, you know, Yasuo doing things, you're not really, it's going to be really hard for you to get onto their backline. Like the only times you really will get onto their backline is after Malphite and Olaf are dead. And if Malphite and Olaf are dead, it's you probably won the fight anyways. Yeah.
Okay.
So in that case, just with the specific champs, like I can understand going the Eclipse in like that type of like team comp archetype, but specifically here, I would make the argument for probably just shield bow and black cleaver, just because the shield bow helps you get through if you do get caught by a Malphite ult somehow, even though you shouldn't because you have a dash. If you do get caught by a Malphite Yasuo combo, the lifeline's definitely going to help you live through it. And then, yeah, just getting through the Malphite and the Olaf as quickly as you can. And I guess the Yasuo, he's not going to be, you know, especially with the passive, he's not like a squishy. He's not a tank, but he's not squishy. But, yeah.
All right. Nice.
So I would definitely in this game gone not the, like, lethality build.
I ran the numbers afterwards, and I wanted to kind of like bounce the idea back because like it makes sense in retrospect. Kind of like going back, I wanted to make sure I was looking at it the right way. Thank you.
Yeah. Anything else for this game?
Give me the TLDR for mine. Or aside from maybe.
Stop
No, not yet.
stop staying out on the map with 1,500 plus gold. Stop looking for plays when like it's okay to stay out on the map when you're like that, like in lane or something if you're like close to an item breakpoint or some shit. But don't be actively like looking for aggressive plays against someone who has more items than you. Like you might have more gold than them, but they've spent theirs, so they can still beat you. So just like recognizing how strong, just like work on recognizing your strengths more and how strong you are, and
I
how
try not to take a.
you have a lot of gold in your pocket, so you don't want to like take a fight now when you can just like chill out, farm up to what if you need like 1,800, 2,100 for that item breakpoint or something, get that, and then beat their fucking ass, you know?
Yeah, that's fair.
So
I
it's
mean,
like,
I tried not to like before like when I was sitting on a lot of gold, I'd look at tab and see like, hey, so like I know I'm sitting on this gold. Do I still have item advantage or equality on him before I try to do something? There were obviously where I didn't, but
yeah.
the majority of times I do try.
Yeah.
A
Like,
lot of gold.
I'm fine with like aggression, just make it a little more
Not
calculated,
overstaying.
right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
instead of taking
mean,
this
I
fight
think a
because you
lot of
think
that-
you're still a little bit like you look at tab and you think you're still a little bit ahead, instead of like taking that fight, just be like I can do that, or in case like 2 more people show up, I can just chill out, wait for item, and then if 2 more people show up, I can still beat their ass and go 2 for 1 or like get 1 in dip.
Yeah.
So yeah, just being
I
a little
mean,
more
yeah.
calculated with the
A lot of
aggression.
that's on like just my uncomfortableness on Renekton.
That's fair.
Yeah. The only reason that I even asked to pick Renekton is because I've played that matchup as Yasuo hundreds of times, and fuck that.
Yeah.
So.
That's fair.
Yeah.
No, I mean I do like the
So, I mean,
Renekton pick.
that was my first. That was my first game of Renekton since season 6. So.
Yeah. If the Renekton is something that you want to develop, which I would recommend, because if, you know, it's just really good against a lot of things, and it's a good flex between top lane. That is one thing to focus on, is just
I am going to be
getting
putting more
used to
time
that
on
power
Kale
stuff.
because it's a fun champion.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm gonna stick for like putting a lot of time on like champions I'm uncomfortable with. I'm probably gonna do the most time on Aurelion Sol, then Kale, then probably like Renekton or Aatrox.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then
yeah.
what do you think of like Mordekaiser? Because that's something that I'm pretty comfortable on.
At that point, I would ask you
For the
why you're
most
not
part.
playing top lane.
Because I enjoyed a few. There are a few champions I enjoy for mid lane that I enjoy the most. Aesol, Galio.
No, I just feel like
And
Mordekaiser's, unlike some of the other top lanes that you can play mid, is in a weird. It would be weirder to play Mordekaiser mid lane.
yeah, that's fair.
It would fit into a lot less spots, if that makes sense. Also, it doesn't have the
No,
flex
yeah, it makes
capability.
Yeah. That's fair.
But yeah, Kale's just OP. Renekton's a good flex,
I think
and
even
it's really
with
strong.
the possible nerfs, I think with the possible nerfs, she's still gonna be
Yeah,
strong.
yeah.
Maybe
So I'm like
bring
fine
like
with those.
or
I
something.
just feel like Mord has less of
Well, I
a
mean,
fit, and
Mordekaiser's
it's
one that I
even
already
Mord
like am
top. It's kind of
comfortable on.
harder to like fit him in, anyways.
That's fair. Yeah. I mean, Mordekaiser's one of those champions where I'm already comfortable on him. Like I was comfortable enough on him to pull him on the KDC last split. It's kind of one of those champions where like I know him well enough. So it's just kind of like if we do have the ability.
Yeah.
So
If you want to keep him in the same like spot as Nasus, where it's like if we want to pull him
Yeah,
out on
that's
special occasions, that's fine. Just don't like
Yeah.
expect that he'll be played a lot, just because it is hard to work
Yeah.
around him.
That's fair.
Mordekaiser, but specifically Mordekaiser mid, it's harder to work around.
Yeah. So I just like I just like the utility that he adds of being able to just say fuck your jungle smite
Oh
XP.
yeah. Yeah, it's just he doesn't like fit super well into a lot of the mid lane meta right now.
Yeah,
I
that's
feel.
fair.
Okay.
So, what do you think the best mid laners out of like my pool are with like the Lucian, Aesol, Galio, Diana? I mean,
Anything,
the majority. Of
all
right?
of it. Like, it's what it, honestly, especially in IBS, it's just whatever you're most comfortable on, whatever you know the most matchups on specifically. I guess more so than what you're comfortable on, just like what matchups you know.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because like if you're playing a champ you know against someone who's playing a champ they know, but you know the matchup and they don't, you're still gonna kick their ass.
Yeah.
Right. Like this
That's
isn't
fair.
like high level, right? So you can't super take into consideration that type of meta analysis, but yeah. So I would just say anything that you know the matchups for, a lot of matchups for, is gonna be good. Like more so than just like being comfortable on it, just knowing a lot of matchups for it. All right. Any other questions for that game?
No.
Nope. Over. But yeah, so the biggest ones is just like, in general, calculating our aggression, playing around the same timers, for both objectives and in general, right? Like even just getting out on the map together and pushing lanes. So just playing on the same timers, which will come with time. This is our first like fucking scrim set.
I don't know. I don't think Renekton is one of those things that I'd want to pull out a lot because I don't like pretty much being forced to take Ignite. And because I love TP.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have to take Ignite. Renekton's Renekton's don't take Ignite top lane.
True, but I mean, to be fair, it is different matchups.
The only thing I would say in that case would just be, if you're gonna take TP, let's use it. And we just want to get you out of lane phase early. So.
Yeah, I mean, I do. I am.
I think TP is totally fine. Like there were a lot of kills on the Yasuo you didn't even need the fucking Ignite. You just overkilled.
True. It's just like level like that first kill though. I use it to get that first kill and then snowball to need it, but I feel like that's also a bad habit.
But yeah, I think TP is totally fine if you if that's what's holding you back from playing Renekton more. I wouldn't worry about it. All right.
Well, I mean that, and also, I mean, I'd assume that it's if I don't want to put too much time on it because I feel like it's just gonna be perma banned. Or like it's already has a high chance of being perma banned, but I don't want to put too much time on it and just have that time wasted.
Mhm.
Oh boy.
All right.
My back.
All right. But yeah. So to wrap up game 1, playing on the same timers, playing together. That'll come with time. Better macro stuff also will come with time playing together. And then individually, just being wary of your own power level at specific times and being able to communicate that with the team. Also, don't gank a Malphite lane when you're double AD, thank you. But yeah. Okay. Game 2. Alright, so this game is going to be, we have Renekton, Hecarim, Sylas, Jhin, Alistar versus Mordekaiser, Vi, Nico, Misfortune, and Zyra. So these lanes are interesting and should work out really well in our favor, and that Sylas, he doesn't really get strong until like after level 6, like level 7, 8, when he starts getting points in his Q, and he can start poking out really heavily. And Mordekaiser, you don't want to gank after level 6. So at least from a jungling perspective, this game is really easy to just focus top side pre-6 and then mid bot post 6, lane level 6. Just because, yeah, that's like it's really good because that's when the lanes want you to come. Otherwise, the Sylas is just farming for now. Bot lane, you can pretty much always go if you can find an initiation, which you should be able to with Jhin, Alistar, and Hecarim. They will synergize really well against double squishies. The only like peel they have is Zyra root, and I guess if you want to consider Misfortune E, you can, but it's not a lot, and we have a lot of hard initiation, so that's pretty much always good. And the Sylas is just going to be really strong once he starts getting points in Q. If I remember correctly, this is a really good matchup for Renekton, actually, so this should go pretty well. I'm not actually sure about the jungle matchup. I don't see a lot of vibes. I feel like both just want to gank, though. So there's not going to be a lot of interaction between the two.
The jungle matchup is essentially if Vi gets ahead and can stay ahead, then she wins. If Hecarim gets ahead and stays ahead, he wins. It's just super momentum focused.
It's all going to be about who can gank and counter gank better.
Exactly.
He doesn't usually gank until level 3 unless she's changed a shit ton since I played her.
Well, yeah.
She can level 2 cheese if she wants to, but like both of them spike hard at 3 and 6 respectively.
Yeah, not a lot of junglers gank pre-3 anyway, so you just go for a 3 camp level 3 if they're, and then gank if they're gonna gank that early. Yeah. Oh, also a big note for the Sylas. This is so good, I think. Oh, you didn't get him. Oh yeah, I remember that. I think if I remember correctly, you 4-shot a minion, which is really tragic. It's like the next 4-shot. It's a minion. I want to watch this. Okay. 4-shot. Reload. And then I think the root's down, so this should be the trigger to go for sure. And then yeah, you 4-shot a minion. I believe. I'm not tripping, right?
Yeah, you said that in the
That was. I think it was the cannon, right? Like it was.
I think it was a mage minion. I think it's that one in the far back upside. Or no, bot side. Bot side mage minion.
Hold up a sec.
It's the bottom most caster minion that he hits.
No, he doesn't hit that. God damn it! Why can't I fucking get this shit right? I'm gonna slow it down and watch it. I'm sorry if I'm lingering on this too long. Just like interested in it. Because I feel like that should have been a kill. Like her just like missing that root that badly was just so egregious.
It was so...
It was the cannon. I believe it was the cannon. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was.
You know, we take those. She flashed for shot the cannon, and you know, we're gonna call hashtag.
But that was a really good
It
initiation.
made me so
That's
happy
really
to
good
watch her miss.
That was a really good punish after she uses her E, and that's especially what you want to do in this house, really. Like, you have a lot of... It's interesting, because you have a lot of ability to fight in this lane, but... Or with that duo specifically, but against their duo, Zyra really has control of it.
So much so. Like, I've beaten up so many different Alistairs. That is the kind of matchup that a Zyra wants to see, because she just pokes.
Yeah.
And then you only E if you can actually fucking hit it.
Yeah, but that was really good to know the matchup to punish it when they fuck it up. Alright, let's see what happened on the rest of the map with direct to camera. Okay, that's unlucky, and you were slowed up, otherwise you maybe could have flash auto, but it's good to hold it. I don't think so. To have. And then this is a really good fight. The next one, I'm not sure actually if he would have won that. Regardless, I don't think you needed to flash, especially with the Hecarim that close, and I'm guessing that was just like a miscommunication. Just communicating where people are. That was good. Good to come in from the Hecarim there. Okay, so this is just misunderstanding the Sylas matchup to Nico incredibly. You really can't E forward, like regardless of this. So this is on hit Nico, but regardless if it was on hit or if it was just regular AP, you never want to be Eing forward onto her until you have the damage to kill her, which usually is just going to be around like level 6, level 7. You have a couple points in Q, you poke out with 1 or 2 Qs, and then you can go for it. Because if you don't kill her right away, no, you.
I just, well, no, I missed.
Can I finish?
I would have waited. Yeah.
Okay, because you don't have enough damage to kill, especially if you're not like hitting the second part of the E on her directly. And with just like the level 1 Q, you don't have the damage to 100-0 her in any means.
Okay,
So just Eing forwards guarantees that she's going to hit the root on you, she'll hit the triple Q, and given that it's on hit Nico, she'll proc her, press the attack, and get the empowered auto, and you just lose that trade. So you can't be going forwards until you start poking her out with Qs, which is going to be around level 5 to 7. 5, 7, 8, 9, especially at level 9 when you max out your Q. You start when you get your lost chapter.
So at that point, would you suggest just starting Q then?
Isn't that what you normally do on side, or do you start E? No,
No,
I thought
start E because of the double pass.
I remember you used to start E, but I couldn't remember if you switched to Q. But no, yeah, you can just start Q. You're not looking to fight early with Sylas. You are a level 6 champion, so you don't need to be looking to fight early with Sylas. I think that's your problem, is you're looking for it as how can I fight her early? And the answer is you don't. You shouldn't. If she's as good as her champion as you are, you will not win early fights. Like, fighting her early is counting on her being bad, which is never a gamble we want to be making. If our only play is hoping that they're bad and they're gonna mess up, then we need to get better.
Yeah.
Because, like, if you can hit those Q sweet spots, especially, like, just through trading stance, that was really unlucky. Let's try our passive. Let's Ignite got the kill.
Sorry.
No, it's not your fault. It's just incidental. Oh, that was really good to avoid the tower range there. Sidestep that. But yeah, like even now at level 5, your Q sweet spots are just starting to chunk her so hard. And now is when you can start looking to poke her out. Because you almost
there's a
killed
lot
her
of times where, yeah, I mean, there's, I feel like that. I should have, maybe not should have, but I could have went a heavy match there. And probably went all in, but at the same time.
Yeah. On Sylas, specifically into Nico, you really just want to be chilling out early, just farming up. There's no, like, need for you to fight her early, especially because you beat her once you start getting those couple levels in, like, the second half of the laning phase. Once you get your lost chapter, like, you get your lost chapter, you get some points in your queue, you get ultimate, especially when you can steal fucking Nico ultimate. Like,
Beat her up with her own ult. It
you
feels so bad.
literally do more damage with her ult than she does. So, as long as you just both use it. And then Renekton's doing Renekton things now. You're doing a really good job. I don't know what to say about that. You're playing the matchup well. I know it's one that you know, so am proud. And I think he dies here too. Yeah, good job. And walking out the back. Yep, good job. Really well done. But yeah, you don't need to be like I don't know. It feels like you're looking for ways to beat her and fight her early, when that isn't what you want to be doing. With that champion into that champion, with your champion into theirs. So yeah, so you can just farm up. You're 6. You're about to get 7, 8, 9. You'll just get even more ahead in that matchup as you get more levels. And then if you're just trading stance hitter with Qs, it's pretty free. Poke her down. Also, you have insane gang setup, so Akram can start coming mid now at this point. If I remember correctly, you guys actually get out of this bot lane. Because they like split focus, like you see the Alistar. And then, yeah, there's not enough damage on the gen. It's really good to walk out there. The only thing is, you probably should have known she was there. I don't remember how she passed, but you have a pink in the river. So I think you should have known she was there. Just like backing up earlier. Because if they played it properly, I think one of you died. I want to say that Jin dies there. If they do it correctly. But good take from the Hecarim onto the Herald now, given that you saw the 5 bot lane. It's good to punish the upside of the map. I wouldn't look for any ganks on the Mordekaiser, but you know, enough to take that Herald right there. Once you get Triforce, you probably can look to gank top, because once you get Triforce, I think if he pulls either one of you into the Death Realm, you just kill him there. I don't think he can beat either of you in the Death Realm once you get Triforce. It's shaky before then. Like the Mordekaiser might be able to just ult the Hecarim and then go 1 for 1, hitting the Hecarim in the Death Realm. And then yeah, that's really good. Now you're playing it exactly how you just needed to wait a little bit before doing those type of fights. And I think, oh, that's unlucky. If you had hit the E2 on her, she probably dies. I'm not sure. I don't know. But you did a really good job. And then not dying. Oh, was really good. You got her flash out as well. Oh my god, that chunks so much. Goddamn. Alright, so yeah, now top lane and mid lane are fucking schmoovin'. We have a CS lead bot lane as well. So this should be a pretty done and dusted game. You just kill that. I don't think he even uses his ultimate here. He's just scared to his fucking life at this point. The Mordekaiser's hating everything. He's ready to quit the team. Oh well. At this point. You guys get the joke.
Yes, I get
That's the one that actually posted looking
Yeah.
for team,
Yeah, that's
right?
the guy who quit the team after
Yeah.
this game. But yeah.
He actually quit the team after that?
Yeah.
Literally between games 2 and 3, he posted a looking for a team post.
I mean,
Lol.
I'm not sure if he quit or if he
dude
got
takes
kicked off or
Scrim
what,
seriously, huh?
but he was done. Mans was out. But yeah. So now we're
he was looking for a
insanely
team
ahead.
for a different league. He didn't.
okay.
Oh, okay.
So also, Trev, the reason that I was like going in so much is because like the way that I play Silas and Soul 2 is like level 3. I haven't advanced with my double tap speed passive.
Against most
And
champs you
that's
do.
why I
Like,
also
yes, I
don't-
understand. Like,
Yeah.
Silas is
It's
3 is
just
so
you not knowing
fucking
the-
strong. You can smack so many people that way. But this Nico one specifically, I'm guessing that's just like from amount of play. Like you probably have to play this
Yeah.
matchup. But
Yeah. Because who fucking plays? I didn't even know Nico was a fucking mid lane champion still.
but yeah. The only way you learn is by playing it. So now you know it.
Yeah, I mean at that game, it was really that mindset at the end, but I wanted to see how aggressive I could play.
Yeah, especially with your
of how
that
badly I
matchup.
stomped.
That's what you want to do. But I'm sure if you
It
knew the matchup, or if it was a
probably
different matchup, it would have worked out.
That game I probably should just practice on CS because I have no fucking clue on how to CS while on Stylus.
Alright, let's see here. So now at this point, I would probably be looking to end the lane phase soon. Like I said, I just really like ending the lane phase early when we're ahead.
So speaking of, how would you suggest is like how do you end lane phase?
I think the best way to end lane phase is by 4-manning bot.
Gotcha.
4 or
Well, okay,
5-manning
so
bot lane
I
is like
think I
the
already-
best way to just end the lane. Like you just
So okay, so like,
gank
what
there.
determines the end of lane phase?
Just like your lane assignments. I don't know. It's just something like you feel. Just the way that all the teams play. Like I talked about it. Just like how dragons are set up as well is just a good way to think about it. And that's pretty much just determined by lane assignments. But the first like 2 to 3 dragons, they just feel different in like every aspect.
Yeah.
Just because of the way they're set up, they're just so much different from like the latter ones where, you know, there's actually like backing early, setting up vision for it. Like it's just so much different. And that's just like a way to like tell. And usually that's just from having the duo lane mid and like the support unlocked on the map fully. Just by being so just being like having more people there and ready to enter the river and get set up.
Gotcha.
And for me, I think the best way of ending it is just by overloading one lane. So just like even if it fucking fails. Oh, that was unlucky. Yeah. I don't. That was aggressive. She only goes into that stance when she uses her clone. So I don't think she would have cloned right at you there, Leper. So that flash was feels bad, man, to say the least. But yeah, so Renekton likes his top lane. He's got the lane unlocked. Honestly, I would have just like you don't even there are like 2 main ways I think to just end the lane phase outright. This was really unlucky. That she didn't quite die there. And that was just aggressive looking underneath that mid tower there. With your wave, like your wave was dying already. It's a little aggressive to look that deep under the tower. You're probably just feeling yourself a lot after the first 2 games.
Am I 2
Or
and 2
after
right
the
now?
first
Or
game and
was my
that
second best?
yeah, like after doing well so far in this game and feeling yourself a lot last game, I can understand why you would feel like going for that. It's just like from a normal mind that isn't, you know, influenced by thinking that that player is trash, whether or not they are, which they are, but yeah, that's a little too aggressive. But yeah, so what I would have done is either just like got push out mid.
Yeah.
You can literally even bring the jungler there to like if you don't think you can get priority yourself, just call the Hecarim over, push in the wave, crash it, and then roam bot lane. And then the Nico has to decide if she wants to follow or not.
Yeah,
Huh?
my internet.
Yeah. So if you want to like overload bot, push out the wave. If you don't think you can do it on your own for whatever reason, if you just like don't have push priority, literally just call over the jungler, have them push out the wave with you. And then you just both walk down the river together. It doesn't matter if they know what's happening or not. If they know what's happening, and they stay under the turret, they're fucking trolling. If they know what's happening and they walk away from the tower, you just take the tower. Just because
So
the
with,
Nico has to decide to abandon the wave. If they want to abandon the wave to like be there on time, then it's like a 4v4 potentially. But that's still like in your favor. And then even if nothing happens, you all recall, and then you switch the lane assignments after the recall. And if like, for example, the Nico like doesn't come, then it's max 3 people bot lane when you're bringing 4 people yourself, right?
Gotcha.
So you should be able to make something happen, either get the tower or get the fight. And then you all recall and reset the lane assignments. Or you can just not overload bot. You can just push in the wave at the same time as your bot lane. Just communicate that. It's like, yo, we're going to switch the lane assignments now. And, right, you switch the lane assignment. Like, you just all recall, and then you just switch lanes. And there you go, lane phase is over.
Gotcha.
And they will be inclined to match your lane switch. Otherwise, they'll just be they're just gonna lose their entire jungle because you will have infinite control of mid lane, which means that easy roams bot lane if they push up too far. You can roam into their jungle. You'll get set up for objectives soon. So they'll have to match it, or they're heavily incentivized to match it. So whatever team is in the lead can just accelerate the game that way by being in control of the pace. And that's my favorite and the best way, I think, to accelerate it.
So
It's just by ending lane
just
phase.
speeding up the tempo of the game.
Making fights happen when you're at your most ahead. Not giving them time to farm up to relevancy at all before major fights. Like if you push the tempo, you can get like a 22-minute soul before they even have time to farm 2 items, right? And then it's just like, shit, bro, I wish we had time to farm. It's like, ideally, if we're ahead, that's how we should make teams feel, right? Just by being in fast control of the tempo of the game. Like, never take a fair fight. That's my motto, I guess. If you don't have to, never take a fair fight. Alright, let's back this up, because we missed a little bit here. Just talking about tempo and stuff. Alright, so we finally made some plays happen. The spy's trolling. She should just die to this Hecarim. Her neck can come over. Like, yeah. Whichever way she goes, she's dead. Alright, so that's a free kill. Sadly, there's no Baron to do yet. So really the only thing to do is to take farm. It's at this point that we could have looked to push up mid lane and then roamed bot lane for bot tower. We could have sent 4 or 5 members bot lane for bot tower here. Just to ensure we get it and steal that jungle area as well while we're at it. Yeah, this is just unlucky. We got caught by the CC and layered, and it's like the easy thing to say is just dodge it, LOL. But I think the better thing is we should have just not been in that position to begin with. That makes sense? Right, like in that specific moment, yes, dodging the CC, you're not playing in tower range. Like the easy way to avoid that, but I think the better way to avoid that is to just be looking for more macro plays. Like take that bot outer tower and send members to do that before looking to pressure this inner tower. When honestly, they have a lot of wave clear, right? It's pretty hard to siege against like Misfortune with ult as well as just a Zyra and a Nico without, having dive threat, which we don't really have with just Sylas, Jhin, Alistar. Like, we're just not tanky enough this early in the game to take all those turret shots. But yeah. So that's just a macro thing that I would say we should look to play differently. Play that scenario a little bit differently next time around. The Baron's spawning now, but I don't think I would look for it this soon. We don't have the best Baron take. We have Sylas Jhin as our mid ADC, so we really don't have a lot of just hard, we don't have anyone who's stacking attack speed, I guess. That's what I'm trying to say. We don't have a Kale or a Cassiopeia or some shit. Wow, he literally saw you in the bush and still went for this shit. Okay.
He saw me in the
tilted.
bush, he pulled me, and then he ulted me. And I instantly ulted and got out.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's hilarious.
That just seems
I
like a
love
massive
watching
misplay.
this play.
Stepping up there. Yeah, so now we're looking to try and take this bot tower just by overloading bot lane at this point. We know the Mordekaiser doesn't have ulti. We see the Nico top, so we can definitely look for this, especially if they're gonna step up like that. It's pretty cool. Hecarim's dealing with the buy, so it's just gonna be a 3v3 under tower. That was good. But yeah, again, their wave clear is just a little. It's really hard to force under tower against this team. When they're all together, like Nico, or even just MF Zyra. pretty hard to look under the tower with the CC. If we're fighting into it's the same thing with like the Alice, just in the lane phase. Like the Alistar doesn't really get to play aggressive into the Zyra. You have to play passive and wait for the Zyra to make mistakes. It's the same, like, yeah. Tower dives is us trying to look aggressively into the Zyra, and it's just like free setup for her. So it's really hard. We really need like a Baron to siege super heavily. So yeah, I just want us to play around objectives in this case for sure. It looks like we are. And just playing around the map, like finding the Silas kill, picking the buy. So that's good. That's very good for sure. 50 seconds for next dragon. A little bit later than I would like, but still good. We'll have 4 members there, like 30 seconds before it spawns, so we can set up for it. The Jin's coming back now. I don't like the Hecarim backing here. You have 2,300 gold, but I don't like. You didn't need it for like you're sitting on a cloth armor. You didn't need to stay out this long. You definitely could have backed sooner if you wanted to back. We're ahead enough that we could like stall if you do back, so we won't get punished for you backing. It's just like ideally, and like in a game that's closer where it will matter more about being there at the right time, we want to be backing sooner for that shit. But yeah, so now we can just go ham here. It's a 7k gold lead. We're taking our Mountain Soul here. We'll get the soul and we'll get the inhib, and then we should just back here, and we can run straight to the Baron afterwards, because they won't be able to step to us because they'll be busy with supers. And if they do step to us, it's actually just the easiest turn in the world.
I don't think we actually lose a team fight in this game, do we?
No, it's just like little picks here and there. If you want to call that one under the inner tower mid lane a team fight, we can, but that would be the only one that you lost. That's more you guys just stepping up to try and siege and getting caught by Nico Zyra layered CC with the MS with over the top.
Is that the one where I greeted and ignited the Nico? And
Yep.
I killed him?
Yep. And you both died. You killed each other. But yeah. So we should just have free setup for the Baron here. This in like actuality, like a wider wider lens of the game, this bot outer tower really doesn't matter. It's a formality at this point. So we really don't need to focus on taking it. I would have much preferred we had backed after the inhib and then just 5 walked to Baron, I think. Because we can literally end the game with Baron without getting a single tower in bot lane here. So like, yes, it's nice to get that tower, but if we're gonna look for it a little harder, probably look for it like 5 to 10 minutes ago. It really doesn't matter now. It'll fall over easily later, especially with Baron. Because just playing for this Baron objective is definitely our better play. And yeah, so we can just start it up and
bot tower?
bot outer at 24 minutes. Yeah, we really don't need to get it when we have mid inhib and top inhib is exposed, and we have soul at 23 minutes and we're this far ahead. So we don't really need to put a lot of focus into it. I much prefer just backing S5 after getting the inhib and then walking straight to the Baron, knowing that they can't contest us, otherwise they'll just lose a fight and the game subsequently. And yeah, this Vi flashes and uses Q and still dies here, and that should just be the game. We can just walk in top lane, grab mid lane when it comes, because it has supers pushing it on its own. Hecarim can grab it if he wants to, but it's not necessary. I believe that is the second time the Mordekaiser has used his ult this game, so that's pretty cool. So slight overextend here. Definitely could have been cleaner, like if we just wait for the minions, but it really doesn't matter. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It could have been cleaner, but I really don't think there's a world where they can come back unless we like all 5 ints to Nexus towers.
Even then, I think we still win.
Yeah, we'd have to sum to Fountain, and they'd have to get a perfect combo off, which is just so hard for them when we're this far ahead.
I think even in like a more even setting, I think their wombo is like insane hard to pull. right?
It depends on the team comps. Against our team comp, yes. And that was one of the big things that I was talking about. I remember before this game is I was stressing how as long as we're making the plays and not just giving them perfect wombo,
I
it should
heard
be easy.
I heard nothing after it depends. Sorry.
Oh. It depends. It depends on the comps, but against ours specifically, yes, it is really hard. And I remember stressing that going into the game is that like as long as we don't give it to them for free, they will almost never hit it unless they get insanely lucky. So, yeah. But yes, it is really hard for them to get their wombo against our team specifically. Any questions on that game? It was pretty clean.
So
Just some
this is what game
some
one should have been, right?
yeah, kind of. It still could have been a little more cleaner just from like macro plays. And just like ending the laning phase a little sooner. But yeah, it was pretty much what game one should have been once we got our lead, yeah. Alright, any questions for that game?
So the Nico Silence matchup, you were saying it doesn't matter if she's AP or on hit, right? The outcome should be the same, just farm till 6, 6, 7, and 9.
Well, yeah, once
right?
you start just farm until you start getting some levels in your queue, and then you can start looking to poke to get a
Gotcha.
little bit of items.
Would you
yeah.
say maxing W instead of Q would let me be able to all in sooner? Or?
No.
Okay.
No. I mean, maybe, but that's not what you're looking to do, I guess.
Okay.
Alright, like, you're thinking about the matchup a little bit too wrong. Like, incorrectly.
Gotcha.
You're thinking about trying to all in her as soon as you can, which is not exactly the nature of your champ or the matchup. Lendl, the file you sent me is locked. You have to change it to anyone with link can access.
Glass of wine is fine. I don't have heartburn tonight.
But yeah, if you could, Lendl, switch that and let me know when I can access the file.
Leper wants to know how he could have had more map impact. Sharp.
What was that?
Leper wants to know how he could have had more map impact in that game.
I guess that's hard. It's hard for you to have a lot of map impact in that game beyond just being a terror on the side lane. Like the biggest extent of your impact in that game is just gonna come from being ahead and being able to body anyone who tries to step to your lane, and that being a pressure point for your team to leverage around. You could make sure, like, one way to do it is just playing around your TP better. Like, you didn't at least for the first 2 games, there wasn't really any TPs to fights, right? Like, if you can, like, if they're gonna have a fight, right? Like, and there will be more opportunities for this if we start like moving the mid laner around the map better and like collapsing on bot lane more. There will be like windows for you to TP into bot as well and make it a 5-man or some shit. But so plays like that. Otherwise, your best bet's gonna be just being a side lane presence that they have to deal with. And when they have to deal with it, that will affect the rest of the map because it should open up your team to do things. But yeah, forcing the other way is to just like force more fights around objectives, which I mean it's weird because the game was so quick and so accelerated that there wasn't really enough time for that, right? Like there wasn't a lot of like the traditional dragon fight, setup. One team has control, one team's trying to get into it, and then there's a fight, right? Like there wasn't a lot of that in this game just because it was so one-sided. So with the game being this one-sided, that also makes it a lot harder to have map impact. Like, if the game was different and it was slower and there were more team fights, it would be different. But that makes sense. Overall, being that pressure point is what comes naturally to me. I don't want to just lane Kingdom. If I should be doing more. Yeah, no. In this game specifically, you didn't need to be doing more. In a game where like you're ahead, but like their bot lane is ahead, and we can't fully capitalize right on like you being a pressure point, then the game looks a little differently, and you like should be trying to help out in more team fights if you can't leverage your side lane in your lane kingdom.
Are we talking about game 2 still?
Yeah.
For Leper?
Yeah, but in this game specifically, it's a bad example to be looking at for like map pressure because there wasn't much to do, honestly. It was a really short game. The game ended like maybe 8 minutes after laning phase did, so there really wasn't a lot to do to affect the map, if I'm being honest. All right, any other questions on this game while we're here?
What was my role? I felt like I didn't do a whole lot. Like the game had like a solid 20 kills and it was over.
Yeah.
But I felt very small.
I mean, honestly, that game, from like my perspective, Australia's might have been nice. To help me and Renekton get into the fight if like team fights would have actually started to break out. You agree with that, Otter?
Well, yeah. Yeah, that's true. It could have been. I don't know. That's something, but you have to commit to your mythic item early on in the game, anyways.
That's
so.
Fair. I have no idea what Shirley. I didn't even know Shirley's was mythic, so
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But I mean, you did a really good job roaming. Like honestly, your biggest thing is since you can't really do anything for the Zyra, right? Like with the Zyra, unless she makes a mistake, the best thing that you can do is just roam around the map early, right?
Okay.
Which you did really well. Like I remember that time you went top lane and you guys got a lot off of it. Like you took the top inner and got a charge onto like the inhib turret as well. But yeah, your biggest thing is when you can't do anything in that lane, just don't be in the lane, right? Like the Zyra can't abuse the lane and bully the lane if you're never in the lane. So your biggest thing is gonna be moving around the map and like trying to make plays happen, whether it be mid lane, top lane, at heralds, whatever it is. Your best bet's just gonna be leaving the lane. So she just is like, well, shit, how am I supposed to abuse the lane if you're not here? And then obviously ending lane earlier and then just roaming around with your jungle and finding kills in the side lanes with your strong Renekton and your strong Sylas.
Okay.
You did it really well a couple of times. I think you would have had more opportunities if the lane phase was ended sooner. And again, it's really hard to take a lot of things away from that game on like a smaller, more specific, minute, like, or I guess it's easier to take things away on like a small, minute level, but like bigger, overarching things like how could I have had more game like impact on the map? It's really hard to like find anything in that game just because it was so one-sided and it was so quick. So just like from everyone, it's hard to do that. Like we can like identify smaller things, right? Like Sylas level 1 through 5 trading patterns, but like overarching is like how do I have more map impact on this game? It's really hard to isolate anything just because of how one-sided it was. So yeah, does that help?
Right.
At least a little bit. Makes sense. Probably
Makes
doesn't
sense.
help, but at least makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. It's not a lot, but like I said, I recognize that there's not really a lot. It was a 20 kill game, and I think they had 3 kills, 5 kills.
I think it was like 5. It was like 25 to 5 or some shit.
Wait a minute.
There was more than a kill a minute.
Of our team's deaths. Wait a minute. I fucking ran it.
I think it ended up at like 20 9 to 7 or some shit like that. But yeah.
Oh, I had over 50%.
Mhm. But yeah. Okay. So going into this game, oh god, I don't. This game was rough. Oh, this is a long one too. I remember.
Terrible.
Oof, duh.
Yes, it
I
was
might
rough.
speed through this one a lot because there are a lot of lull states in this one. Not a lot happens for a lot of this game.
Watching the Jax go in without any items was fucking killing me.
But yeah, this game, like looking at both teams, they have Shen, Jax, Vel'Koz, Ashe, Nautilus. We have Vladimir, Mundo, Azir, Ezreal, Leona. No one wants to do anything for the first 20 minutes of this game besides Leona and Nautilus, and no one wants to do it with them. So there's not a lot of onus for anything to happen. Oh yeah, I don't know why the fuck Ezreal's here. Ezreal's in fucking no man's land, just wasting time. And if I remember correctly, the Ezreal actually ends up late to lane. Like, you're not gonna make anything happen here. 1v3 at best. Like, you're 1v3 at best. Most likely 1v4.
Yeah, we were gonna just back there, and
And
I'm
I
not
think-
sure what happened.
Yeah, he actually like
back.
into the lane, I think, off of this.
I get chunked
specifically.
out, but then I think it.
No, like this lane just like is actually lost so early off of him walking like this. Because now there's like a good chance that he just fucking dies here trying to get back to the lane. You make a mistake of stepping up to this 1v2.
Yes.
There's nothing you can do here. You really just need to wait for your Ezreal. Like, even if the Ezreal is here, there's not a lot you can do early like this.
Okay,
Yeah,
come on.
so you lose like all of your health bar. Ezreal's finally here, missed a lot of CS, and then I think you get hit by another hook,
Yes.
and you use heal, and then Ezreal loses all of his health bar. Oh yeah, the Jax is a fucking troll. I don't know about that. Oh yeah, he doesn't lose a lot of his health bar. He loses fucking all of it. And now the lane's pretty much just over, because Ezreal's still level 1. When he gets back, Ashe and Nautilus will be 3, almost 4, most likely. Ashe will have first blood gold, and will be up like 10 to 15 farms. And that's just from like it's already going to be a difficult lane as Ezreal Leona. Like, there's not really much you do in this lane. Like, there isn't like, you don't do anything until X point in time. You just don't do anything. Literally, you just don't do anything until Moby boots by, and then you just aren't in the lane.
No,
anymore.
here's what he screwed up. Killed him.
Yeah, he messed this up, which was good. Sadly, you got the kill, so
yeah,
Ezreal's
nice.
still going to be down a lot of farm and a lot of gold. Wait, I mean, there's not much you can do about that, right? Just throw Ignite, but it's unlucky. Yeah, it's going to be a rough time for now. So they have...
Watching Ezreal Q made me really sad back then. They were so wide.
Yeah, and that's just something that'll come with practice, and I don't know. That's a hard one. I don't like that flash at all. That's so fucking aggressive. You don't need to do that. You just
Okay,
Right, like,
listen,
just
I
wait
would've
for the
killed him and
wave.
Gotten out, but I almost auto the tower. I fucked up my attack move because I used attack move with my soldiers, and it was close to the fucking tower.
I mean,
So, like,
you shouldn't have even
get that,
had the
don't get me wrong,
chance
that
though,
was-
because he flashed
True.
late. He should have flashed earlier, and you would never have even had
Yeah.
the chance to get it right. Like,
I
you
mean,
mess
the
it
only
up,
reason I did
your
that
chance,
is
but you
because
shouldn't have
of the
had the
previous
chance.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. The only reason I did it is because of how the previous games went. So I was
Yeah.
like, fuck it, might as well try. And I fucked up.
Yeah, I don't like it. You have like 2/3 of your health bar. He has like 250 health or something. You can just play with that because he has to back. Otherwise, he's just gonna lose farm. And just like,
Yeah.
because 15 CS is a kill, right? Essentially 15 to 20 CS, depending on what farm it is. It's roughly a kill. So you can honestly deny him almost that much just if he doesn't back there. If he backs there, you can deny him almost that much. If he doesn't back there, you can deny him almost that much and almost probably have a safer window at getting the kill.
Yeah.
Where you have, minions under your tower. But yeah, in a more high stakes game, like not,
won
a scrim after winning the first 2 games pretty handily, or we should have won the first 2 games pretty handily. We won one of them pretty handily. Had a chance for the other. But after, like, yes, it's a little different. I can understand,
Yeah.
going for it, just trying to big dick him, but in a different
I mean,
setting,
I also
that's
probably
not the way
wouldn't
to
have
play,
picked
for
these
sure.
I mean, because honestly, I don't know. Like Nico and Vel'Koz are the two mid champions that I don't know what to play into. So at this point, I'm trying to learn the matchups. Azir is a relatively uncomfortable champion for me. Like not super uncomfortable, but like I haven't played him religiously since before they did that mini reworks.
That was before my
I'm wanting
time,
to
so I don't
play
know
more.
about it.
Yeah, they decreased the Q range to each to where like now he gets a shield all the time before you.
Oh, well, he's gone.
Oh.
Sorry, someone's gone. I don't know. I'm backing up here, though.
He didn't have the more value. Or I wouldn't have to block. But yeah, that's just lack of practice.
Okay, but yeah, so here, it's a decent scoop. I don't know. It just feels really early. And if I would have scooped him, I probably would have scooped him because you're not gonna get him in the tower. So I would scoop him towards Mundo. But yeah, you really don't have a lot of mana either. It's just a weird play to go for there, I think. Like it's a little early and it's not towards Mundo, so the Mundo doesn't actually ever hit this. This is really fucking tragic. You like the Vel'Koz missed the Q and then you walked it into the Q for him there. And yeah, that's just a micro thing. Clicking closer to your champion, sidestepping.
Yeah, I think I wasn't really concentrating because me and Vinny were kind of talking about whether or not I could have gotten 2 kills there.
Yeah, I thought that he could have just because if he would have disabled W there, he had bleed up, or he would have had bleed up, and he saw the flash up. So I was trying to get him to.
I don't know. There might have been a window, just because. There might have been a window for it, but it was definitely a very small window, just because melee into range, you had to have been like immediately. Yeah. Just with spacing, you had to like immediately be invested and like committed to doing it. Otherwise, you just get kited out. And I'm not sure about Vel'Koz's timings. But yeah, still that should have been something you can sidestep there. And like you did sidestep it, and then you walked into it. So that's just unlucky. Yeah. And then this is more. That's just you just gotta stand behind your minions. Like this is gonna be a rough lane already. It's gonna be even more rough if you keep giving the Nautilus free Qs off cooldown. You're already down 30 farm at 7 minutes.
Yeah, I tried to get a freeze set up here.
No, you don't have any right to get a freeze, if that makes sense. Like you can only get a freeze if you have.
I was trying to get him farm.
Yeah. Like you only get to freeze if you're ahead or you're even.
Because they actually
like
let
if
us
you can freeze if like you're strong enough to contest the wave, or if they're not in the lane. So like if you're freezing a side lane in the mid game, you can do that. Otherwise, if you can't contest the wave, they're just gonna break it immediately, and there's no point to even trying to freeze. You're just gonna lose some CS that's unnecessary. Oh yeah, big thing, Leper. This matchup specifically, you really have to be. I remember this from like the whole game. You really have to be pooling the taunts. Like this is a really good fucking matchup for Vladimir, because the Shen, like in theory, has absolutely no like use out of 2 of his 3 basic abilities. Yeah, like his taunt you should pool every time, and you're not gonna auto him, so his little field doesn't fucking matter. And especially going like in targetable, he's not gonna get like all of his passive autos up, especially with fleet footwork. That's why this lane is so atrocious. Especially because even if he does somehow manage to take an even trade, you just heal it all back up. But yeah, so the base of that is just making sure that you pull the taunt, and that's just a boomer hands thing you gotta get used to, I guess. Yeah, like, you're doing really well against him in lane, and then you're just making small mistakes that mean that you don't actually come out with an advantage. Like, you're even on farm, and he has a kill, like one more kill than you, and you have one more assist than him. So he has, I want to say more gold. Yeah, he has just, like, it's dead fucking even. Like, he might have one more gold than you do, or some shit like that. But it's dead even, and that's just because, like, slightly too aggressive in a lot of mistakes. Like, you're doing all of the setup steps right, and then the final step is just slightly wrong. If that makes sense. In the mid lane. Oh, he's gone. Okay, well, when he watches this back, I hope that makes sense to him.
I do have an itemization question about this game.
Yeah.
I'm obviously trying to get my mythic first, but should I have gone like a nice Val second and maybe put on a Azir instead of just going straight tanky?
What do you end up going second instead? Do you remember?
I think Deadman's
Hmm.
or either there or Thornmail, I can't remember which.
I think going, if I was gonna go a Knight's Vow, especially like with all of your teammates wanting to scale, I would have just gone at like third or maybe fourth item. So like I think Knight's Vow is good, especially into their team because they're just gonna be doing true damage and AD, and yeah, physical and true damage. Both else would do some magic, but it's not nearly as much as, you know, like most of his damage is going to come from true damage anyways.
So should I have looked to roam more? I mean, I felt like I couldn't because I used my ult a couple of times to save Ezreal, and I felt like I needed to be there. But should I have just left and tried to roam the map?
Yeah, because like both teams want to scale, but it's not like they don't have windows to make plays, especially at level 6. There's a lot of plays that you and Azir can make in the lane. Vladimir just wants to scale. There's not a lot he can do other than just like get a farm lead, which he's doing really well. But yeah, I honestly would have just gotten Moby boots and roamed. Like I can understand going the Mercs here, just for the CC, but I feel like what I would have done instead is I probably would have gone Moby boots, and then like after finishing my second item, switch the Mobies to Mercs like later on in the game. Just because, yes, the Mercs will be nice, but they'll be nice more in like team fights later on. When everyone's there, the Nautilus, the Ashe, the Jax, the Shen, all of their CC. Then the Mercs will be really nice. But especially with how this bot lane has started and is going, just getting around the map and making things happen elsewhere is going to be your best way to impact the game. And that's a lot easier to do with Mobies. Oh, this is really troll. Yeah, they have a full wave. There's no world where you can walk up there. You took like a okay to bad trade and made it a good trade. Like with the double Ezreal ult and like the WQ and all. You got a lot of damage through onto them, and then you just step up into their minion wave away from your tower instead of just backing up the tower, taking the trade, and getting some free farm. Instead of doing that, you walk up and just die. Like Ezreal is not a traditional, like maybe if it's a traditional ADC or something, you can maybe, I still don't like it, right? But it's more excusable that way. But Ezreal is more like a mage in that he's like he's a casting ADC, right? He's cooldown reliant, and he just used all of his to get your trade back. So you can't like take extended fights really with Ezreal. At least in the early game. Like in the late game you want to, because you know he's a casting, so you just want to get as many spell rotations off as you can. Longer the fight goes, the better for Ezreal. It's either like short one shot or long for like casting champions, just in general, rule of thumb. But especially early, it's you just want to take little fights, so he can't really support you in that endeavor to go up there. And then I'm guessing that was just like an impatience play, right? Like you're playing you're playing Leona, right? Like you want to do some shit. You're bored, right?
Yeah, Ash was low too. I was like, well,
Yeah.
maybe if
You took
I can
a
get an E onto Ash,
yeah.
we can
Like you
burst her down.
took a decent trade there and got a lot of health back on them, right? And probably won the trade. I don't remember exactly, but you know, it looked really good. Like a good trade for you guys. And then yeah, no, it's just a little too eager. And that's just from being a bored Leona. He's laning with an Ezreal against Ashe Nautilus, which is not the kindest of lanes to say the least. And wanting to do something, but yeah, no, if you want to do something though, because I can understand getting bored. A lot of inting comes from being bored and just making plays, like fuck it plays. So like I would try and curb that, or like solve it in a better way. So if you want to do like a fuck it play, go mid lane with Azir. Right. Like just roam mid type of deal. Like you take that trade, Ezreal will get, they're gonna back off, Ezreal will get the farm under tower and back. While he's doing that, you could roam up to mid, for example. Also, you definitely want to have your sweeper by now, I think.
Yeah, I meant to get it on my.
Yeah, I imagine you just
trolled and
forgot.
meant to get it on my. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're
The new
doing actually a
placement
really good
super
job.
throws me off.
They're actually doing a really good job like getting vision into your jungle, which is actually kudos to them. And then yeah, here you just step up without a wave, like that's all it was. And then Leper TP's in. If this could have been good if Leper had TP'd in right away when they first engaged onto you, but instead, I think Leper was feeling the same thing that you were. Is he TP'd in? Just because like lack of communication, he didn't know if he should TP in or not, ends up being late, and then once he got here, it's like I'm fucking bored as shit being top lane, just farming it up, even though he picked Vladimir, so you really just want to be scaling, and then on top of, I used my TP, I want to fucking get something out of it, and that's how you get plays like that, where it should have been just both teams walk away, but it ended up being 2 kills for them. 2 unnecessary kills. Again, there's not a lot that's going to happen in this game for a while, just because... Oh, this was really good. I remember this. This was almost really good, and I think you step back up, and then yeah, Shen comes in and kill. You die. But it was a pretty good play. It was a good micro. For sure, until you step back up to auto the wave instead of just walking away. Yeah. And they should get the second dragon here pretty soon. I think they're gonna push out mid and bot lane, and then they're gonna look for this dragon here. We're very lucky that they are also very scaling, and they're not like, imagine we play this comp and they get like a 22-minute, like they're playing a comp that like isn't almost as just as scaly as we are, and they get like a 23-minute soul or some shit, and it makes it really fucking hard for us to do anything in this game. And that's draft side wise, we were only able to draft it because they were this scaly, but just a lesson in that, like, if we're on the flip side of it, you know, especially if they pick something scaly, if we get a lead at all, we just push that for a 23-minute soul. It makes it so hard to come back in games. Getting those early souls. Using our lead. Like, this lane phase is so fucking long, it's insane. We're actually gonna pass 20 minutes before the first tower falls. Before the lane phase ends. Like, first tower falling isn't necessarily the end of lane phase, but it's very traditionally it is. So like, they could end the lane phase earlier, like without a tower falling, but both teams want to farm, so we just farming for eternity. definitely would have gotten out on the map by this point, just roaming. Like Ezreal, he's... Oh yeah, that is the one thing. Token, if you end up watching this back, you really need to focus on improving your farming, just your last hitting in general. It's just like, hurts you a lot. But yeah, Ezreal shouldn't have a hard time farming by himself. So yeah, I would just leave him and roam. Because like we are a scaly team, but if we can scale quicker, in a sense, just by getting gold from the earlier spiking champs, helping us out through like the Leona doing a lot of work for us just to get us earlier leads, it helps for sure, and we can scale sooner, and you know, hit those item break points and have a lot of power sooner. And then this was just a misplay from the Ezreal. The Ashe autoed a minion, she almost like fucked it up. But alas, yeah. Just not recognizing the tower was about to fall. And just recognizing you have no fucking health. Your tower has no fucking health. The Ashe is very fucking strong. You can't be up that far. And then I don't know what this was. I think we were trying to contest like a scuttle crab or something. Yeah, we were.
I think we had caught. I think we're trying to kill a Jax with what a class. We caught him in the jungle.
Yeah. He wasn't really caught though. He had all of his team there. I wouldn't really call it a catch. But yeah.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of an eager play there. For sure. So right now they have like almost complete control of the game, so we just want to be farming up as much as we can. Luckily the dragons are taking forever, so they won't have soul until close to like 28 to 30 minutes if they get all 4 dragons, so we can definitely like give this third one and then fight for the fourth, like when we, because I don't think we'll have 2 items on everyone, and really we want to be looking for 3 items. So if we can just like farm up and look for 3 items by the soul, we should be in a good spot. We should be in a good spot to contest this space. Obviously things can change just by picks and the nature, but assuming no one makes a mistake and gets picked, that's kind of what we're playing towards. Good side pressure by the Vladimir there. Was able to get us like farm in mid lane, just releasing pressure. I'm actually gonna speed up through this part because this is like one of the parts where it really starts to lull slate. Like there's still some stuff early, right? But now we're really gonna start to lull for a little while here. Like that was an interesting part. But yeah, I think we're definitely contesting too soon and without all of our members. Like there's no way the Azir ever gets into this fight unless he like is already looking for the teleport, like he's already backed off to a place where he can safely TP. And we're just walking, and we're just not strong enough yet. Like the Ashe is just really strong. So we just have to recognize that, and at the end of the day it is just a Cloud Soul as well. So and it's only the 3rd dragon. So in this case especially, I would definitely just be focusing more on just scaling up. There's no real initiative to contesting that dragon there. There's no real need. I don't know what the right word for there is, but there's no need to really check it and like contest it right now. Because even if they do get it, it's not the end of the world. If they do get the Cloud Soul, but they won't even get it for another 5 minutes or so. 5 to 6 minutes anyways. But yeah, so the lead balloons a little bit more. It was sitting around like 2.5k. And yeah, now we're up to about 4.
I figured it would have been more than that with 15 to 4 on the kill.
Yeah. The gold,
or in game I felt, yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. The farm's definitely helping out in our favor. Like, yeah, the lead. Where is it actually? Yeah, their lead is almost entirely on their Ashe, so everyone else is pretty much even. The Vladimir has a lead. It's kind of counteracting the little leads, but most of it's on the Ashe. That's just a micro play. Also, it's a Jax you're trying to chase. Kind of hard. It's good to look for the pick though, because that is like when we're behind like this, the best ways back into the game are either by catching someone as a mistake or just giving things until we're ready to fight. Because a 2k gold lead means a lot less at 30 minutes into the game than it does at like 22, 23 when we were contesting that dragon. So if we can like just keep, oh, that's unlucky. I'm not sure if you're like trying to flash predict or not, but
Yeah.
still a really good good pick here. And then the problem is overstaying. We take the one and then we need to leave. And yeah, so that's just an overgreed. Like they're still ahead of us, even though like we get one pick, but they're still ahead of us. We should just take what we can. It's still good for us to get that shut down, but they did they got more kills back, which means they'll have more men on, or they'll have more people on the champs on the rift to force something. It's like they got the fucking TP out there just by having Jax on the split, for example. So yeah. Gold lead stays at about 4k here. Again,
Using the Jax to actually split side lanes a lot. Should we have tried to punish that one?
the only way you really punish that is by forcing on the door, but it's really hard for us. That was a good pick. This should be a second stick pick here. Yeah. And this was a really good punish on the overstay by them, and that brings us completely back into the game here. That's massive. And we were able to find that with the Vladimir split pushing. So, and then the biggest fucking thing, every time we find a play like this, I just want us to be thinking about how we can not let them punish and get it right back, right? Like, because they just overstayed trying to get a tower, and they gave us a bunch of kills. So, I'm not, yeah, we should just do it. We should just back off here and recall, but yeah. Just taking what we have and like keeping it and not like it's like at the fucking casino, bro. Like you just made a bunch of money, don't just go lose it all the same night that you made it, right? You just made a lot of fucking money on roulette or some shit. You're not gonna just go and bet it all on black that you just got. Like take what you have and leave. Which we did really well here, and it actually times up really well for setting up for this dragon. Which was really good. And we should have a really good shot at getting this dragon actually now, because we'll be able to set up for this phase first. Everyone's here, and especially with this pick, this should just be our dragon here. A little bit aggressive flashing forward. As soon as you get the Ashe flash, walk back. You walked a little bit, there was a chance to Shen, because Ashe could have just picked the Leona there, potentially. But it was good turn back, though. But yeah, so this should just be free dragon then. And that's exactly what we should have been doing. We got lucky. Like, we should have been probably able to be in this position around this dragon anyways. But we gave them, like, a couple more kills than we needed to. But luckily, right before the dragon, they gave them back to us, which is definitely a blunder by them, because it's like they're in so much control of the game that, like, the only way we get back into it is just kind of some type of throw, and then they overgreeded just for the mid-inner tower that they didn't even get. It's just an overextend when they had money in their pockets. So, lucky for us, but if we're in that situation, make sure we don't make that same mistakes and greed out on the map too long. Especially when we're that close to Soul. The Baron is on the table as well at this point. Like Jax, Shen, Ashe. They should be able to take the Baron pretty easily. But at that point, when you're at 3 dragons, you always prioritize the Soul over the Baron. So like they could have like around the third dragon, maybe look for the Baron, but it still felt like it was a little too early. So at that point, it's right to focus on Soul, but still. Alright. And then yeah, that's just an overgreed, getting a little overzealous after. Like we win one fight, and that brings us back into the game. We can't go like too aggressive though after that, especially as the jungler. You can't get caught because this should just be a free Baron for them, and this will flip the game in, like back into their control here, and it should take them straight into the next dragon if they don't mess it up. It's good to get something back on the side lane and the mid lane, like, except that we're not going to contest it. Take the 2 inner towers and trade and dip. Call it a day. See if, you know, at least get something back for it. And now we just really want to turtle. Just farm it out, wait for this Baron to end, which we're not too bad at farming or wave clear here with our team. Especially with the Azir. They could 1-3-1 on us really hard though. So like which I'm not sure if they do. I don't remember if they do or not.
They 4-1.
I know
They use the jacks to split up very
They
hard.
also use the Shen. They went to they use the Shen back.
Yeah. If they 1-3-1 on us really hard, our best bet is just trying to force as hard as we can on the 3. Your options are to force on the 3 or force on one of the 1s. We can't really force on the jacks or the Shen really well. Our best bet is just to force on the 3.
I was trying to get everyone to
Yeah.
focus on
Well, I mean, we don't have to
just
push
like-
hard because remember
Yeah, this is where me and
what we
Vinny
want to
kinda had a
do
different
is
odd
we do
idea.
still want to just farm and wait out the Baron, right? So we
So
don't
when
want
they
to
collapse on the
we
jacks, and
just
he's
want
wanting
to
push
wait for
on the
them to
3.
make a mistake. Like mistakes usually happen when you're forcing, right? Like when we're forcing to do things. So we really just want to be
No, it
farming
wasn't
up
here.
there.
No.
No.
It was a little bit after.
Yeah, there's one point we were just split on what we wanted to do.
But yeah, so like right now we really just want to be farming it out, waiting for this Baron to end, and then getting ready for this next dragon fight. Because we are in a pretty good spot right now. Azir's gonna finish his 3rd item here pretty shortly with the death cap. Vladimir's already at 3 items. Ezreal's at 3 items. 2 items on both the jungler and support, and I feel like the Mundo should also be kind of, yeah, the Mundo's close to his 3rd item as well. So we're in a good spot. We're pretty matched with them just in terms of power here. So right
I
now,
think this might be where I kind of end. I thought we had the Ash. This might be the fight.
but yeah, we really just want to be waiting out the Baron really hard right now. Like
And maybe
especially now,
maybe
it's
the
so
second
close.
Baron
It's so
too.
close. So we
Can't
just
remember.
want to chill out here. And once the Baron's done, then we
What
can
part are we at?
easily clear the waves.
I can't
First
remember.
Baron.
If this is where I went. Yeah,
Their
went on
first
the
Baron.
Ash, and we didn't not get her.
And then it's a Leona, so we should be fine. And then as soon as the Ash flash,
Yeah,
it's
that's
just a
what I
little
thought. I could get the
too
Ash.
hard. It's just a little too hard. Like it looks good, but it's a bait. Just because we don't have Ezreal. I don't know. The Vladimir doesn't have easy access to her. We don't have a lot of burst. It's just the Mundo and the Leona on the Ash, really. We don't have a lot of burst onto her
2 ranch.
with the Shen there as well. So
Give me 2 ranch, please.
yeah.
Was this after the flash? Flash cycle? Or the
Yeah.
flash?
So then we've got, yeah, so then they should just take this, but again, it's not the end of the world, because it is just a Cloud Soul.
It doesn't make so much better before.
No. And now we're really just waiting out, stalling out again for the
So
Baron.
this is yours, right?
We're just gonna stall out and wait for the Baron. Just keep farming. The later the game goes, the more the gold matters less, and it's just gonna be more on execution and
You don't have to.
raw
have to clock out
champion
on that.
power. So
Yeah.
we're just trying to go late if we can. Like we drafted to go late, so this shouldn't be something. This shouldn't be a new thing to us. Like we should know that this is what we're thinking about. Not forcing fights we don't have to. Our Azir hit a good power spike now. We hit some really good power spikes here right now. So we should be ready for this Baron here. In like a minute, we should be ready to start pushing up mid wave and contesting position in the area.
Whoever picked me.
And then it's a 2k gold lead at 35 minutes. I can kind of understand looking for that, but it's not necessary. It's a short enough cooldown that go ahead and throw that if you think
Yeah, that's the
you
way
can
I
get it.
figured, and I didn't know he. I thought he didn't know he had vision on him, so I thought that'd be pretty easy.
Here's where Benny was calling for us to push forward so we could get the.
Yeah, and I was kind of wanting to collapse my Jack, so me and Benny were kind of having the discussion of kind of.
Yeah, this is just a little aggressive. Vladimir can wave clear just fine here. So I feel like instead of using this here, the Baron's about to spawn. We should have just cleared that wave as a team and then recalled, and then push up the wave and taken vision control over the Baron. Because the Jax is their jungler, right? Like if the Jax isn't with the team, they can't do the Baron. So we just have infinite like priority to do it if their Jax is the ones that are pushing. So we just can leverage the fact that their jungler is the one who's split pushing. Yeah, and then the Baron's like 20 seconds from spawning and we still aren't backing. We're going to chase him. If we had pathed differently, we probably could have caught him too. There's a chance we catch him because he does have a sweeper. But if we had like run down the river or some shit, there's a chance that we could have caught him. But yeah, that's still hard. And then the Baron's already spawned and we've lost all priority of mid lane because we used our Azir tower earlier. We haven't reset. We're just now resetting. The Baron spawned 10 seconds ago and we're still looking to reset. And that's just, again, playing around back timings type of thing. Or not back timings, just playing our back timings around objective timers. Luckily for us, they aren't doing it and they're looking for backs themselves. But Ezreal also just backed, so again, it's just really weird. No one really takes like control of the area super well. You can tell that they're inexperienced at like, especially at having a lead. And like taking control of an area. But yeah, so right now what we should be doing is we want to be getting priority to the wave. Like we have the inside track to mid wave, so we know they can't start it here because we have vision of it. They can't start it, and they can't go clear out mid wave because we have inside track on it. So we should just be getting mid wave pushed out, and then it just becomes this like game of chicken where like we bounce back, the teams back and forth between catching the mid waves, pushing them out, and coming back to here until someone decides they want to start it and make the other person come in and risk the chance of like losing a lot of health to Baron before the other team comes in, and then then it's this weird game of chicken. Who's gonna start it? Who's gonna contest? You know, do they turn? Do they pull off? And the best way we can play around that is just by denying vision. So we just push up the mid wave, deny the vision. So like the less information they have, the more chance that they will int and just like walk in. And this was really good. That was a really good pick. Just overall, that was really good. Just like layering of everything. This Nautilus definitely steps up too far. It was a really good Vlad flash over. Yeah, I don't know. Everyone just played that really well. And that should just be free Baron for us, especially since the Shen wasn't here. The Nautilus was definitely inting by looking for that. Yeah. One person per zone in this case. Example, it's easier. It doesn't really matter who it is. Well, it's not like a fucking Ezreal. But display stopper. Yeah. So we get the Baron here. And now we should really be in the driver's seat super hard here. Our Vladimir and Azir both have teleport, so we can look to 1-3-1 or 1-4. And both Vladimir and Azir should be pretty safe doing it. Azir just needs to make sure that he holds, you know, his combo in case they overforce. Because just like how like we want to resist the 1-3-1 by either engaging on one of the sides or on the 3, they're gonna try and look to do the same thing. So our sides just have to make sure that they're safe and they're ready to leave if they try and get, if they come and try and contest them and collapse multiple. And I see we set up for the Elder, which is semi-right. It's semi-right. We really want to get mid lane pushed out first. It's really easy for a team to contest the space if they have control of mid. So it doesn't matter if we're here first if they have control of mid. Just because there's always that timer against us of like eventually, you know, yeah. I don't know, like it just feels like it's really, yeah, we don't truly have control of this. It's like freezing the wave when you don't have like priority like to step. You can't contest the wave. It's like, sure, you have it for now, but do you really have it, you know? Because like I can come and look at you and then I'll crash the wave. You don't really have a freeze. Or like in this case, we don't really have control of the space because not everyone's there. Like it seemed like it was a split call. Like Vinny went to go split top lane while everyone else grouped for the Elder. And if we knew we were just gonna like do the Elder fight on spawn, we should have just all walked there so we were there together, so we were ready to punish them walking through this choke. Like we should have as a team, we should have pushed out the mid lane as a team. So we should have pushed out mid lane as a team and then all been in here holding the space. And like we could spend 4 to push out mid, 1 to push out bot lane, just so we have both of them pushed out, and no one has to leave. And then we can control the space and collapse on them coming through here with like Leona ultimate, you know, Vlad AoE, Ezreal ult, Azir shuffle or some shit like that, you know. You don't even need to shuffle here, honestly. You can just like put down soldiers and auto at that point. And that's just like a communication split call thing.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
And
like
also
I
just
was thinking that I was
inexperience,
splitting
right?
top.
That's something that will come with time and practice. But it's not like either like idea was wrong either. Like we have to decide if we want to use the Baron and like delay the Elder, or if
I
we
think
want
if you
to
go back,
just
I think
use
two
the
people-
Baron to contest the Elder. Like
I
we
think-
could have just looked to push with the Baron and not even like tried to risk that fight. And just taken advantages on the map with the Baron, which I personally
think we were
am more of a
trying
fan of.
to delay, but I think if you go back and look, 2 people got hit with a stun, and then they
Well, it was just
it went off all in. Like we stepped up too far to try to delay.
Yeah, and we were talking more about how we didn't want them to get Elder more so than using our Baron at the time that was happening.
And then I remember here we like almost finished waiting out the Baron, and we get that 1 kill 1 for 1, and we get the 2 even, and then we keep running forward, and their Elder is literally 25 seconds from timing out. Like we could have still definitely won this game even after them getting Elder, if we had just taken the 2 for 1 and walked away and waited for the Elder to time out. And that's just we have to be better at playing around
Honestly, I thought that I could kill him.
timers as a team.
Sorry, I thought that I could kill Jack solo.
It's really hard too with the Elder especially. It's just really difficult. Honestly, with Elder, it's like a short enough buff that it's not honestly too hard to just turtle it out. Especially if they don't have Baron to force a
We
fight.
had 45 minutes. We were pretty middle.
And that's just something that will come with playing more games and playing more long games. But definitely a super winnable game. Definitely a couple things that like could have switched it on its head from both teams, for sure. But yeah, any specific questions on that one before I like do a general like?
No, I
wrap
think
up?
I had Baron.
Is there anything specific for me while I was?
No, not anything like you specific or champ specific. Yeah.
Here.
Any other questions on that one?
Oh damn, y'all just oh fuck. Oh.
We did record.
Yeah,
so for your
I
play
streamed
in
it on
game
my
2.
Twitch, so and I saved the VODs on there, so you can go watch it if you'd like. Should be able to find game 2.
Alright.
But yeah, that was game 3. But yeah, so this game definitely just shows inexperience in terms of just like shot calling and macro. So we want to make sure that we're playing the safest we can, or not the safest, but the smartest we can. Playing around objectives and setting up for them, and just having the proper setup for these type of fights. Because again, never take fights on equal ground if we can prevent it. If we can help it, and we have the control to like choose, never take an even fight. Don't give them the chance, right? Like never take a 50-50 smite, never just like meatball run at each other with no one like having an advantage going into it. I'll always take we play dirty here, okay? We don't give them even fights. We take advice that we know we're gonna win, you know?
I don't know what your Twitch is, dog.
Yeah, I can link it for you afterwards. But yeah. So yeah. If there's no other questions, that one is mainly just macro and being on the same page as well, which and like just a lot of stuff that will come with more experience and more like it's more stuff you have to like fail. It's kind of like the stuff that you have to mess up to learn, if that makes sense. Like you have to mess it up and then like think about why it was a mistake, and then the next time we do it, you know, we know. If that makes sense.
I mean, yeah. There were definitely like, I definitely agree with us needing to be on the same page. There were a lot of specifically between me and Lendl and me and Chevy.
Yeah, definitely game 3. Yep.
Yeah, and that'll just come with time.
Which
as well.
I admittedly didn't handle the best, but I was messing
Yeah.
up. I at one point muted my mic and just started cussing you out, Chevy.
I figured so, especially after that one.
That's just I get extremely tilted when I'm like saying stuff. Like I'm down with like to discuss it, but like when it's like there's just silence and like not even an acknowledgement of like no, we're not doing this. That's like I just
Yeah, and I usually don't talk a whole lot, but that game was, I don't know, maybe it's game 3, maybe it's the length of it as probably.
I
do stuff more than I normally would do, but
yeah. All right, so that's game 3. That was Scrim Gym week 1. I plan to do this for every, Scrim Gym week, just so we can keep learning, keep moving forwards. But yeah, so just like internalize some of the things that we did, because the biggest thing I want to do is make sure that we keep moving forwards. I don't care if we make mistakes as long as we learn from them. So just like learn from the mistakes that we made last week, and next time we're presented with the same scenario in a game, we know how to do it, right? Like we should know what we're doing. We should know like to do it better, execute it better. But the biggest one that I want to focus on for next week is just everyone being on the same page in setting up for objectives, and just being there at the right times and getting ready to be there at the right times.
For that, do you want like I can stream/record POV, that way we have comms as well. Do you think that'd be helpful?
Yeah, if you want to do that, sure.
That way.
I think it'd be helpful. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Makes me good to go over.
And then I also wouldn't mind at some point, like as like a more casual thing as well, because I am like for when I play on teams, I am like the primary shot caller in charge of like setting up macro and stuff. So I wouldn't mind like you guys playing like just some game, like some scrim, or it doesn't even have to be a scrim. We can just like go up into flex with whoever's around. You guys stream, and like when it comes, like once we start doing macro objective stuffs, I will just like talk and tell you guys what to do, right? And just like learn it that way, learn from doing it, and then.
I mean, I definitely like just like the few games that we played when I played ADC. I've definitely like the split pushing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think that would.
Oh, that's my bread and butter. Split push. Ooh, ooh, baby.
I mean, Masses Diana XP.
But no, yeah, we'll figure out something to help work on that and learn that, and especially for like our shot callers, whoever like ends up filling that role, to learn that as well, so we can replicate it.
I mean,
both with me doing it as well as like just in an actual game. So
With the shot collar stuff, if possible, I prefer to because I know that I have like a really strong
Yeah.
vocal, like in game, and
No, yeah.
I'm normally the one talking the most.
Yeah, we'll set up a lot of that stuff more officially here in like the next couple of weeks of like how I want the comms to be, just like hierarchy wise. But yeah. But yeah, that was this week's Scrim. I will be stopping the stream. If you ever want to look back on it, it will be saved on Twitch for I think 30 days or some shit like that. But yeah,
14.
no, I'm partnered or whatever. It is.
Well,
It extends
even
it
for
to a
affiliates,
month.
it's still 14.
I'm pretty sure it's a
Is
month.
it? No? Is it?
Yeah, he's
Mhm.
right.
It's a month.
It's 14
Is
for
it?
affiliates, yeah,
Okay.
and 30 for partners. Yeah. Or I guess indefinite for partners.
Yeah, it's indefinite for partners. I thought it was 30 for affiliate, 14 for everyone else.
It used to be. It used to be 2 years for affiliate. Or no, it used to be 2 years for normal people, then indefinite for affiliate and partner. But they changed it because Twitch XD.
Okay. Well. All right. I'll cut the stream here.